It's time for
It's Fanboy Weekly for all you geeks, nerds, and blurs. Let's get our geek on.
Welcome back to Fanboy Weekly. I'm David here, and we are actually on time tonight. And miss part of the 5x5 shows. Thank you guys for joining me. I was in the middle of doing something and I kind of messed up because I'm always at the wire, and I need to stop because I don't like being behind. It's so funny because when I'm at work, I'm so I always have a plan. I always have a schedule, even though I try to plan this out. But I'm always doing something up until the last minute, and I don't particularly like that. But thank you guys for joining me anyway, even with my crazy and kooky timing and things that happen while I'm trying to get ready for our weekly fanboy show. And I think we've been doing this for like 8 weeks straight now, which is pretty amazing. I stopped for a while because I didn't know if I was going to keep on doing it, but I got a new passion for comic books, and if you guys have listened to some of the shows, I am working toward opening my own comic book store. I talked to Joe Field from Free Comic Book Day, and we have a excerpt from that interview a little later on. I talked to him, and he was like, "Do it," But I read so many things online, and I actually read some really good advice today from online, doing my online searches about opening your own comic book store and the amount of money. And I want to do it without taking out any loans, and I want to have enough money to be safe, so the business doesn't go bad before it gets good, that type of thing. And it definitely can happen. And but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Hopefully. And my computer is doing something real wacky right now, so I apologize if oh, Ken Boggles in the chat room now. Ken says, "Shut your mouth. Nobody want to be hearing about you and your comics." He said, "You hush. You want to make me partner." Of course, I want to have a Kentucky division. He said, "I want to be Comic Coco and friend." I'm more like dark chocolate, baby. Thank you, kid, for joining me tonight as I nerd out, as I often do. I don't know what my computer's doing, and it's irritating me. Yeah, something weird's going on. So I hope you guys can hear me. I hope nothing sounds weird because my computer is acting a straight fool for some reason. Yeah, see, it's not even doing that. Anyhow, not Dark Thunder. That sounds like a porn name. Dark Thunder, starring David from the 5x5. Enter if you dare. Not the White Devil. You're not a devil. Yeah, my mouse is not acting right. You're not a devil. You're more like a white angel. And so I had to try something. There was something going on with my system. I don't know what's going on. Anyhow, so I've been reading a lot of stuff online about investing and having money, but one estimate was saying you need like $50,000 to start, and I'm like, that's for some people that is a year's salary, $50,000, and then I read another estimate, like if you really want to be safe and secure and you're very modest in your location, although I did see a great location yesterday at one of the older malls, but I would need a outside entrance, but it's perfect location, has like 2 wings in it, kind of shaped in a V, and I was like, that could be interesting. And I'm like, that's really cute, but it's very preliminary, very tentative. So, but that's coming, like I said, anywhere from 12 to 18 months down the road. But 100,000. Then the next estimate was $100,000, and I'm like, $100,000 to open a comic book store? Are you kidding me? And then they're like, if you don't have the money to spare, don't do it. You hear all these sob stories, especially if there's comic book stores in the city that you live in, and there's two here. And then what I also read is you have to be sharp, you have to have a good staff, and I think that goes with any type of retail environment. And I've been lucky enough to have a large amount of retail management experience. I've managed stores with a $5 to $8 million footprint every year. So the management side and employee side, I don't think I have a problem with. But you can't live the store. You can't be there every day. And Ken says he has somebody that I need to talk to. I need to. And so I need to give me the number. And so, but everybody says, even Oprah says that you should do what you have a passion for. And one thing that I can, other than taking care of people. Oh, okay, Ken. Ken has a friend that owns a comic book store. Huh? I need to pick his brain. Does it sound like I'm yelling? I feel like I'm yelling into the microphone for some reason. I'll pull it back a little bit, and so Oprah and everybody else says that you should do what you love and what you have a passion for. And like I said, I have a passion for taking care of people. I have a passion for making people make sure they're okay, making sure they're well and not ill, especially in the developmentally disabled community. That's what I like to do. But I love what I do. I can't say that I don't, even though it's difficult at times. But I do enjoy what I do, and but I do have a passion for this. This whole nerdy side of me has always been inside of me, sometimes very, very out, and sometimes very, very in for the most part. And so anyhow, that's what I want to do, and hopefully if I play my cards right and I'm smart about what I'm doing, it will come to fruition in the near future. With that being said, I've also started selling comic books on eBay and via my blog or website. Now that blog is theblurredhq.blogspot.com, so you can check out all my eBay listings and what I have in store. There's only one thing there now. I just recently set up accounts with some providers that provide products and stuff of the geeky nature. So that'll be coming soon. But this week I sold my very first book. It was a Spawn #1. I got a good price for it, way more than the Overstreet value. But the thing with comic books, you have to be very careful on how you rate it, the condition. I'm not a CGC, is the CGC price guide or rating person. So I'm trying to be very conservative in how I rate it. Now, I thought the comic books were in really good condition, but there was one little crease, and I hope I put that in the selling information. I don't want the person to get mad at me. And there was like a little bidding war, so I got what I wanted, more than what I wanted. But here's the thing, because I've been ordering. Oh, thanks, Ken. Yeah, it was pretty exciting. Actually, somebody they're bidding on something right now that I'm selling as well, and there's people watching the comic book, so it could be good. But I don't have 50,000 comic books. If I had 50,000 comic books, I can sell them each for $1. I could open my store, but that's not the case. I have a couple thousand, and I need, if I can sell them all for $100, that'd be perfect. That's not going to happen, and so. I've been buying comic books online. I recently received I think I told you the Firestorm New 52 1 through number 9, I believe, which was a good story, and I'm going to keep that. I'm not going to sell it. They do say when you open your own store, you're no longer a fan. You own less comic books than you did when you were just a fan, when you're an owner. Anyhow, and so so the first one, and I've been buying stuff. Like I said, I keep on repeating myself. I apologize. And so, like, what some of the packages, like everything I've received, they've been packaged very well, and they've got here relatively in a short amount of time. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. And so, like on eBay, when you list your comic books, there's all the stuff you got to do, and you take a picture. And like I said, you should see my room. You should see my room. I have a table that's comic books that's covering it. I have a place set up where I take all the pictures with on another computer desk. Then I have chairs that have comic book stuff in it. Then I have another chair that has packing materials in it. I'm like, and I can be a bit excessive. I'm like, okay, David, you need to regroup and refocus. So you don't get out of hand, because I think sometimes, like, I have comic books on the floor, I got to stack here, got to stack here. I need to focus. Like, at first I was really good at it, but then sometimes my time is very limited, and then when I'm doing stuff I'm tired. And so I was using a really cool app on from the iTunes App Store, and let me tell you what the name of it is real quick. So if you want to just catalog your comic books, and you want to just know what you have, and I'm going to use it, CBI. If you type in CBI, it will tell you what the app is called. It just says CBI. And it doesn't really say much else, but it has a little guy flying, and it has the option for to add issue. Of course, you can back up, and you can search by publishers, authors, pencilers, inkers, and colorists. And I don't know what the reports tab is. I haven't used that. Top titles, top publishers, and then missing issues. So it does a lot. Now the app is free on the App Store, but once you get past 100, you got to pay him. It's either $1.99 or 99 cents, and it's both on the iOS format and also on the Android format. So that's a good way. And I start doing that, and then I'm like, oh, this is so boring, because if you don't get the title exactly right, it won't find the book, and then you have to take a picture. But I'm going to use it because it's a great tool to use. But anyhow, so I sold the first book. It was, like I said, it was a spot number one, and I got more than I thought I was going to get for it, and so I was happy. It was my first little sale, and I was patting myself on the back. And so then I was like, okay, I need to package it up. So I'm trying to package it up the same way that I received my books in. So, and I have some, I would call them not really throwaway books. I don't want to say that, but it's books that, like price preview books and stuff like that I don't have, and like old issues. I think I gave her an extra book. It was a female who won the bid. I gave her an extra just to keep her looking at my stuff. I gave her a Marvel Index comic book, which was in perfect condition, but I didn't have any need for it. But she might not, and she would throw it away. But that also made it stronger. So I put the bags and the boards in there, and then I took cardboard, like I have been receiving mine on the outside, and so I had to go upstairs for something. And then I come back down. I can't find the comic book, and I had to, because I'd already put it on eBay that I was shipping it that day, and so they're really particular about that, because you don't want to get caught up in anything. And so I chose a shipping format that only is going to cost $2.63. But here's the thing, and I didn't know. Well, not that I know this. I didn't want to do this. If you print out your postage and stuff from eBay, you get a discount on the postage. And so it was going to be $2.63 for me to mail this comic book. So I had it all wrapped nice and pretty. Finally found the comic book. I don't know, I threw it somewhere. And I'm like, I'm going to do more damage to it now, throwing it around. And then I had a second one, and I couldn't find the second one. It's in here somewhere. Anyhow, so I got it packaged and everything, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to print the postage for my first time. I'll just go to the post office. I go to the post office, and it is crazy busy. This was Friday. It was crazy busy, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. Why is it so busy in here? Because I was going to work. I'm like, I'll do it before I go to work. Couldn't do that, so I had to do it while I was at work. And so I go to a different post office, and then they're closed. But I said, well, I can do a little automatic thing outside. And so since I had my own packaging and not the packaging that comes, and I didn't print my postage off from eBay, and then I was going into a time crunch to where it should have been delivered. I ended up paying $6 to ship it. So this is my first lesson learned. Be organized. have it packed right, ship it, they say 1 or 2 days. I'm going to try to ship it the day after, if not the day. Or I'm going to tell people who win stuff, I'm only going to ship on Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. That could be bad. I might not go with that. But anyhow, so I did that, and then I didn't have a pen. And then the pen at the post office, and I think that's tacky, so I will be printing out my labels from now on. So I had to write the address on there. And then once you buy the postage, if you use a little automatic kiosk, once the postage comes out, you actually have to write the address on there, because I had it already addressed. So it was so ugly. So I was next door to a Dollar Tree. So I run to Dollar Tree. I said, let me borrow your pen. And so the young lady there, she gives me a pen, which I thought it was a pen, but it ended up being a mechanical pencil. And so I'm like, this is not a pen. This is not a pen. She's like, oh, that's a pencil. I'm sorry. And so then I had to write over the pencil on this because I've already paid for the postage, and I wasn't going to waste $6 in postage just to get another one, so it'd be pretty. And so, but from now on, I will print out all my labels from eBay. And then and it looked ugly, and I spelled the address wrong, and it was bad. It was bad. This person will probably never order from me again, but that's a lesson learned. It was my first one. I had sold, and mind you, I had sold stuff on eBay years ago, like in the early 2001, 2002. I had sold stuff back then. But the comic books was new to me. I don't think I've ever sold a comic book online. Maybe one. I can't remember. Possibly one. And so I get that done, and I was like, all the work that it took me to all the work that it took me to get that package together and send it, I was wore out on one book. So, and I have a lot of them on sale. But I'm ready. I have everything. When I'm going to shift stuff, that's all in a different part of the house, and I have everything ready, and I'm going to print all my packaging stuff from eBay to get the discount. Because here's the thing, if you don't, because then you have to upload the tracking information. If you don't use their labels, your money that you earned is you don't get it for 21 days. You have to wait. And so when I uploaded my tracking information about the package, which should be delivered tomorrow, it says my funds won't be available to April 1st. I'm like, how's that? When I didn't pay the money, So I didn't make any money on this first book because I bought all the supplies. Of course, the shipping was more than I anticipated, but I bought all the supplies, and well, maybe I made a little money, but it wasn't much. And I'm like, ugh. So lesson learned. lesson learned. So I'm not going to trip. It was totally my fault, but it was fun. It was fun. It was a learning experience for me. And normally when I learn something and it's been a lucrative lesson for me, it kind of sticks. So I won't make the same mistake a second time. Ken Bugle, thank you for tweeting me, Ken. I just seen it pop. That's why I paused a while ago. I heard it pop up on my phone. Ken is so funny. He's one of the funniest people. I like his Ken-isms because they're hilarious. He said he just shared my butt on his social media. Then he called me a woman of the night. Well, let's take a really brief break, and we're going to come back. We're going to talk about The Walking Dead. It's tonight's episode was the second to last. Well, next week's the finale, the season finale, and then I'll talk about. I watched the Aquaman pilot. Yes, I'm late. I know, like 11 years late. I didn't know they had one. Jason Hartley was in it. That ended up being, well, we'll talk about when we come back. And what else we have on? Some Buffy news and some stuff I got at the comic book store this week. We'll be right back. Maybe if I can get this to act right. This is not acting right. My computer's acting a fool.
Imagine a world where bullying isn't considered a normal part of childhood.
A world where I'm not afraid to go to school.
To speak out.
To be myself.
A A world where I'm not afraid to be caught alone.
Come on, punk.
We have the power to stop the bullying. Speak out.
Speak up.
Educate.
Find out what to look for and how you can make a difference at bullying.org.
Bullying is not kids being kids.
It's not about good homes or bad homes.
It's not a normal part of growing up. I shouldn't be afraid to get on the school bus,
To turn on my computer.
or walk to my locker. Did you know that a bully will stop his or her behavior in 10 seconds when their peers speak up?
Use your voice.
Hey, leave him alone!
We have the power to stop bullying.
Find out more at bullying.org,
Bullying.org.
where you're not alone.
And you're not alone.
Where you're not alone.
Welcome back to the 5x5. It is Fanboy Weekly, and something is acting really weird on my there we go. Sorry about that. Something started playing before I wanted to play. Anyhow, hey Jay Peterson, I think that's Josh Peterson. Chilling, talking, nerding out, geeking out with my boy Ken Boggle here. Hope you're doing well. So we were talking about eBay and stuff, so that made my blood pressure rise. So we're switching lanes right now. We're going to talk about the television shows this week. Now, tonight was the second to last episode for this season of The Walking Dead, and it was pretty tame. You see everybody heading to Terminus, and you see the different groups. Glenn finally finds Maggie. Daryl's in that kind of crazy group that kills people in Vade's house, where there's going to be some drama next week because this same group was part of the group where Rick, when they first came back from winter hiatus, Rick, Michonne, and Carl was in that house. They came into the house and Rick killed somebody in the bathroom. Then they took off. They mentioned that toward the end. And wasn't the leader of this group, wasn't he in like one of the Buffy episodes? Or several of the Buffy the Vampire episodes? Anyhow, he was in there. And then of course I said Maggie finds Glenn with that chick that he's been with, and the one that was with the governor's group that killed Maggie's daddy, the Dr. Herschel. We see that, but he doesn't tell Maggie who she is. They said she found him on the road, and so it was good to see them get back together. You can tell they're totally in love, so that was nice to see. And then they make it to Terminus. They make with that group, the Maggie group, and Glenn and his people are outside the tunnel looking for him. They make it to Terminus, and the guy that looks like Seamus. And it was really weird. So I don't know if this is going to be some kind of religious fanatic. Wouldn't it be horrible in a zombie apocalypse? You make it to the safe zone, and the safe zone is ran by the people from the Westboro Baptist Church. Wouldn't that be horrible? I mean, wouldn't that be absolutely horrible? And by the way, I talked about that last night. The leader, the father, the grandfather, the pastor, Fred Phelps, passed away, and they want all you people during his funeral to not go protest it because we need to show decency, to respect his funeral and his family. I'm not going to get into much here, but Fred Phelps and your crazy Westboro people family, you haven't showed anybody decency in this country when it pertains to military or gays at their funerals. So you get what you deserve. I wouldn't do it, but you get what you deserve, and that's all I'll say about that. You should come by more, Jay Peterson. Why haven't you been by more? And is Ken Boggles out there? Ken said he beat me to hell first, right? Anyhow, but wouldn't it be horrible? You go and then there's this crazy religious fanaticals, and it's the Westboro Church, and because the woman that they first meet when they're going to Terminus, she's talking. There's this weird kind of gothic church music playing in the background, and then the preview for next week, there's something going down at this Terminus, so it may not be as safe as our fellow zombie apocalypse survivors may think. So if you haven't check it out when you have the opportunity, because next week is the season finale. So I won't be talking about Walking Dead much longer. I think Arrow, we still have a few episodes left of Arrow, which it was really good. And did you guys pick up the Harley Quinn cameo voiced by Tara Strong? Tara Strong voiced some characters on Teen Titans. I think Young Justice as well, but she's done some stuff for the video games. But she voiced the cameo for Harley Quinn. That was Joker's sidekick. It's crazy. And also, you remember years ago in the Birds of Prey, the very first live action incarnation of that, Harley Quinn was the villain. She was the main villain, which makes more sense because that's a kind of a Batman character. They really aren't saying if Harley Quinn's going to make an appearance, but I don't see why they would, because she's part of the quote unquote Suicide Squad that had Deathstroke in it, and Diggle, and they all went to get the whatever that chemical was the other day, a day that was going to kill people. So that was that episode, but this Wednesday, I guess this Wednesday is the episode that I'm looking forward to. It is the Birds of Prey episode, and I talked about that last week. It has the Huntress and the Canary, not Black Canary, has the Canary fighting. So, which I like that because they've always kind of been frenemies in the comics, and and really portrayed in the Justice League Unlimited series, which is you can find those on YouTube, and you see what's the one called when they're all fighting in the like little Glamour Slam, that's what you called it on the cartoon. But they also had that in Birds of Prey. It's already been done. It was called Gladiatrix. But anyhow, Harley Quinn was the victim in the first. It was a victim. Was the villain in the first Birds of Prey, and so this Wednesday on Arrow, we'll see another incarnation of Birds of Prey, and also on Batman: The Brave and the Bold, they had an episode called. They were called the Birds of Prey, which then it had Catwoman, Huntress, and the Black Canary. So it's going to get really interesting. We don't have a lot of episodes left of Arrow. I think they're on episode 16 now. So if they get 23, would that give us 7 more episodes? So we have a few. So I'll be talking about that quite a bit. And speaking of comics, as you know, on Thursday, I had the opportunity to speak with the founder of Free Comic Book Day. Now, Free Comic Book Day is the first Saturday in May. This year it's going to be on May the 3rd. And it's where on that particular day you can go and get free comic books from your local comic book store. So if you go to freecomicbookday.com, you can put it in your store locator and see if you have a participating retailer in your area for Free Comic Book Day, and so it's pretty interesting, because I've gone the last 2-3 years, maybe 2, and got a lot of books that have turned into series. And it's also not just the mainstream books, it's a lot of independents. You have stuff from Image, Valiant. Like last year we had the story that they kind of portrayed on The Walking Dead this season, just a few episodes ago, of the Michonne story, in a Free Comic Book Day offering. But you have a lot of different stuff, Archie comics. I think I got Pippi Longstocking one time, which was really hilarious. The Infinity miniseries that kicked off in Free Comic Book Day. Then Inhumans, a lot of stuff has kicked off on Superman Unchained, has kicked off the New 52s as well. So it's worth going if you're a diehard fan and you're looking for the next not even the next big story, the next interesting story. That would it's a good time to go, because some of the series start on Free Comic Book Day. But I was lucky enough to speak with Joe Field, who is the founder of Free Comic Book Day. And so I'm going to let you guys check part of that interview out. You can get the whole interview. If you look under Real Talk with David and Nikki under the 5x5 show list, and it says Free Comic Book Day with Joe Field, and you can hear the complete interview. But I'm going to play a part of it here for you guys.
And today we have a very special guest, the founder and creator of Free Comic Book Day, Mr. Joe Field. Hello, Joe. How are you doing? Thank you for being on the 5x5 today.
Great to be with you, David. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, because what I was thinking about, I said, I need to do a Free Comic Book Day show, because it's something that comic books I love, and I have all these kind of fanboy things on my website and the shows that I do, and I'm like, what an awesome idea is to talk to somebody from Free Comic Book Day. And so I emailed the organization, and Mr. Field, Joe, he said he would talk to us, and I'm like, oh, wow, I get to talk to somebody who's actually this event that I've enjoyed going to, and I guess I missed the memo because I've only went for the last 2 years. How long has Free Comic Book Day been in existence?
Well, the one coming up will be our 13th annual, so it's been going on since 2002, and that's a lot of comics that we've given away over the years.
Yeah, because I'm like, I remember the first year I went, and they're like, well, they're giving free comic book free comic books away at the comic book store today. I'm like, what are you talking about? They don't do that. They're like, yes, they do. So I always tell people I'm a fanboy come lately because I always get the news almost like a day late. But I was able to get over there, and I think I got a few. I think it was the year they had a Buffy book, or if I remember correctly. I still have it. And so 13 years giving away free comic books, that's a long time. For me to miss it. How did it start? What made you personally say, okay, I want to do something for the community. I want to bring new readers into the genre. What did you say, like, this is what we're going to do? How did that come about?
Well, here's the deal. I've been in the comic book business for a long time. I've been a fan since 1967, but I've also been in the business of comics since the mid-1980s. I worked for a cup of coffee for Stan Lee doing public relations back in the mid-'80s, and then I also did public relations and advertising and was one of the co-founders of WonderCon when it was in Oakland, California. So that was all prior to opening my own store, which is called Flying Colors Comics and Other Cool Stuff in Concord, California. And we opened in October 1988. So I've been through it. I've seen a lot over the last 27, 28 years. And at the time that I first proposed Free Comic Book Day, it was after a not really great period in comics history. The late 90s, it looked like things were just completely falling apart. Marvel was in bankruptcy. Circulations were going down. It was not a very healthy market. But when I wrote a column in 2001 proposing Free Comic Book Day, I did it because I recognized that things were turning around, that there were publishers were getting healthy again. The storytelling was getting a whole lot better in comics. There was just a lot of excitement going on, and I thought, well, there's got to be some way to spread this word a little bit wider and invite people back into comic shops. So I basically stole the idea from the free Baskin-Robbins free scoop night that was going on right next door to my comic book store in California. So when I saw a long line out in front of the ice cream store, I thought to myself, to me, the only thing cooler than ice cream is comics. And if they can do that for ice cream and get 900 people to wait in line for a free ice cream cone, imagine what we could do if we gave free comic books to people just as a way to say, look what's going on in comics, come on in, the water's fine. And so we took that idea. It was published in the magazine I was writing for at the time, and then we had a couple of meetings around it and decided to set the date for the first Saturday in May in 2002, which was the day after the first Spider-Man movie debuted. So the Free Comic Book Day hasn't always been tied to a movie release. There were a couple of years there where there was no movie release the first Saturday in May, but Hollywood has wised up and has seen the error of its ways and has come back and given us a good strong comic book movie every single year now. So it's nice that Hollywood has caught up to comics finally.
Now that was Joe Field from Free Comic Book Day. I had a great conversation with him. He is a great guy. I was just happy that he took the time out of his busy day because they're gearing up for Free Comic Book Day themselves. He had his own comic book store. He's also online. I think it was Flying Colors Comics and other cool stuff. So check him out. You can look for if you go to my website, you go to the Blurred HQ.blogspot.com. You can see the full episode, or just tab down and look at Real Talk with David and Nikki, and you can hear the full interview as well. But so it's coming out May 3rd, the first Saturday in May. It's less than 2 months away. I think we're like into like 40 days away, and that's nothing. And then I have so much fanboy stuff coming up. I'm gonna make some I'm not very crafty. That's one thing that I'm not. I can't put stuff together. I don't draw very well. I'm not crafty. I have a lot of ideas, but if somebody is better with a glue gun than I am, I'll give it to them. I could do little stuff, but I'm not one of those crafty people. I think that comes with having a baby or something, because I'm not one of those guys. And I'm going to make a shirt, or a couple of shirts, with my website address on it, and my podcast address on it, hopefully, and maybe some kind of emblem. It's going to be black. I always wear black, and it's slimming, right? And because we have our first ever comic book convention coming in this area on April the 4th and the 5th. And so I already got my ticket. I'm ready. I got VIP, right? I had to, and so they just sent out the map to where it's called PopCon. If you go to pop-con.org, and you can check out where this is going on. If you don't have anything to do, you live in the area, you're going to be driving through the area. Tickets are very inexpensive. If you want to get a VIP ticket, I don't know if they're going to be any. It's 2 weeks away, less than 2 weeks away now. If you could be in the area, they're $50, or whether they have them or not. But you can buy tickets from their website. They also have a Facebook page. But like I said, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go with my stuff, and I'm gonna, them t-shirts you can spray. Well, a t-shirt is a t-shirt, but there's this it's called t-shirt paint that you can spray. It's not like where you get the airbrushed on at the mall. It's kind of a textured kind of paint that you spray on t-shirts. If you want to like spray a emblem, or you want to spray on a stencil. So that's what I'm going to use, because I want to be unique and I want to have a cool shirt. I'm not going to do the whole cosplay thing, because who am I going to be, really? The Blob? No jokes, no tweets about that, or you'll get cussed out. Or I could be, who else I want to be? Really? Because if I put on a red shirt with a white shirt underneath and some blue jeans, I swear, I don't wear red. I don't wear red for this particular reason. If somebody says Fat Albert to me, hey, y'all gonna have to come get me out of jail. And although I embrace my size, I do. Or somebody goes, hey, Kool-Aid. This is why I don't wear red, because back in the day when you used to do the Jones, used to do the dozens with your friends, and this particular day I guess I was in high school, because I didn't start gaining weight until I was in high school, and one of my friends, in their ultimate wisdom, and it was a good one. I couldn't, I could have talked about the house, but you don't go there. He's like, when David walks out of the house, they go, hey. No, not hey. They go, hey, Kool-Aid. That's funny to me, although it stung for a minute, and so I had to live with that for like a week. But I didn't bust him up or anything, but it's all good in my hood, trust. And so I'm not going to do a cosplay thing. So I doubt if my nephew will. I did order me some really cute Batman earrings. Is that girlish? I'm going to wear them. It doesn't matter. But I'm not a big Batman fan. Although there will be a Batman. The Batman. Somebody has made a replica of. It's not the original one. Somebody's made a replica of the Batman tumbler vehicle that was in the first Dark Knight movie with Christian Bale. That person's going to be there. There's going to be a couple a female Misha Tate is going to be there, and a couple of artists, and a guy that does that kind of monster makeup, and he's really cute, so I'm gonna get a picture with him. But you get a lot of VIP treatment, and I like being in the head of the line. I don't like waiting, but you get a lot of stuff, and I'm gonna do that Friday and Saturday. Friday I'm doing it with work, and then Saturday I'm going with my niece and my nephew. I wanted to volunteer, but the comic book community can be very, very, very closed off, and that's what I want to bring into our community, having a very, very positive and light atmosphere. Because I wanted to interview one of the guys. Who doesn't want free advertising? So I had emailed them, even though they was good enough to do. They did a favor for me. But on the flip side of that, I said, "Hey, I have a podcast. Would you guys be interested to talk about what you guys have coming up?" And he's like, "Oh, we'll think about it." I'm like, "It's free advertising. Put me down as a sponsor." But obviously they didn't want to do that, so that's fine. But I just thought it was odd, and so I was going to volunteer one day just to kind of rub elbows with some people in the industry. And the thing is, two of the comic book stores here are not even participating. Now, this is a comic book convention that we've never had in this area. For this area, it's like the major city in this area. Although all around us you can drive maximum 3 hours and get to Indianapolis, St. Louis, Louisville, and Nashville, but in this area it's very rural, and I'm like, it's going to attract people. There's going to be people, just for people who don't know, because there's nothing to do in the city, so this is kind of a big deal. And for you not to participate, I think that's kind of not very bright. Now, I know the other comic book store that I normally go to the most, they're advertising it, and like some of the artists that are local artists, they kind of patronize, and they kind of sit in, and they have the most artist signings and stuff. But it's not like, oh, we're doing this, we're going to be at PopCon. I would think that you would want to be involved, since it's a comic book convention. It doesn't make sense to me. So we'll see. Go sell all your back issues for a quarter. Take a ton of them. Make some money. Like I said, that's what I would do, but everybody's not like me. So that's coming up. So I have a lot of stuff coming up in the future. We'll have some videos. We'll have a lot of stuff. And speaking of that comic book, I did pick up a couple this week. There really wasn't anything that I really that I needed to have. I read the Dexter book. I know you guys, I told you about Dexter #1, Down Under. I'm not going to pick it up anymore. It was just good to have it, just to see what they're doing with it since the show has been off. Yeah, I won't be picking up #2. Although it looks interesting, I won't be picking it. That's $4 I can save. I did pick up Wolverine the X-Men #2, which I need to put back in his bag. Phantom X is back in the mix. They have this whole Phoenix Rise storyline going on, which I really haven't caught on yet. I'm going to give this one more book, because anytime you have a Phoenix storyline without Jean Grey, I just kind of don't really like it. But they're kind of focusing on Quentin from the show, who's going to eventually be the Phoenix. So we'll see. Like I said, I one more book, and then it might be done. But one of my favorite things, season 10 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer comes to Dark Horse Comics. #1. I spent more than I wanted to spend on it. It should have been $2, but it was $3.50. But some of the comic book titles are $3.99. But the gang's back together almost, and they, at the very end, they have everybody, including Spike, in the issue. And they tell, Faith is here. Giles is a kid. So if somebody can tell me what the hell happened to Giles, I would appreciate it. I might have talked about this last week. I'm not too sure. But Giles is a little kid again. I got these Wednesdays, so maybe I didn't talk about it last week. Anyhow, Don's in it. Of course, Xander, Buffy. Anya is talking to Xander, being a ghost. As a ghost, not being a ghost. She's talking to Xander as a ghost. I want Tara to make an appearance. I think it's funny. My niece, she's tweeted me. She's texted me all day because, like I told you guys a few weeks ago, she started watching Buffy from #1. So now she tweets. I keep on saying tweets. She keeps on texting me about what's happening. Oh, I hate this character. Or, I like this character. And I tell her, I said, well, where are you at in this particular I got a crease there. Where are you at in the book or in the series? And I had to tell her, okay, that's a good episode. And then I haven't told her everything because I wanted to have some surprises. But now looks like there's going to be another character called Ghost in the comic, in the Buffy comic. So we'll see how that works out. But they're back in California. And they're doing the whole like they were in Sunnydale, which is kind of pays a homage to the original series that was on the CW. But here's the thing with that. Now, with Buffy season 10 in comic books, we have James Marsters, who played Spike, and then we have Nicholas Brendan, who played Xander. They're going to take some of the reins from Josh Whedon. I think they was going to do a Spike like television movie, but now it's going to be a graphic novel where James Marsden, is it Marsden? Marsters? I should know. Marsters. Remember James Marsters? He played he was Brainiac on Smallville. You guys remember that? But he was Spike on Buffy first. And so he is going to be part of the writing team with Christos Gage on Spike Into the Light. So I'm going to pick that up. I hope that, I don't know if that's when that's coming out. And then Xander is going to be writing some things for Buffy season 10, also with Christos Gage. So I'm glad I got the first one of that because it looks pretty interesting. Of course, I love Buffy. I love the fandom around Buffy. You know, she's on that show called The Crazy Ones now. They need a television movie. You know, or a movie. Do a Buffy movie just like they did Veronica Mars. You know, it was on TV for a while, then it was off, and now they're having a movie coming out. So if they would all be able to get back on board, you know, bring back David Boreanaz, the chick who played Cordelia, Charisma Carpenter is her name. Of course, Allison Hannigan is on How I Met Your Mother. I don't think James Marsden's doing anything. We know that Nicholas Brendan ain't really doing anything but the comic book conventions. I think that's what he does now. You know, but you was in a show that has such a cult following, people are still paying you for autographs and wanting to see you. So I think that's really, really cool as well. So look forward to those things. So what else is there? I had a couple other things to talk about. If I haven't completely bored you guys tonight, Ken Boggle, I hope you're not asleep. Ken is so absolutely supportive of me and anything that I say or do. If anybody needs a personal trainer, a personal cheerleader, call Ken. You know, he would give you all the inspiration you need. I mean, he's a good person there, good guy. I like Ken a lot. Let's see. What else? Oh, and so you know, I didn't know this. I just found this out after this year's X-Men movie, Days of Future Past, and I have the original trade paperback. If anybody wants to buy it, I will sell it to you. I have the original. I've seen the new ones they had at Barnes & Noble. I think I seen it the other day at the comic book store too, but I have the original. The first one that came back when it first was out, the graphic novel the trade paperback of, the graphic novel of Days of Future Past, I have it. Anyhow, but you know, after the movie, they're making X-Men Apocalypse. That's huge. They're going to bring back Nightcrawler. They're going to work Gambit into the fold. And there's also going to be a third Wolverine movie. And we're probably not going to see Hugh Jackman as Wolverine in the third movie. I think they said 2017. He probably could do it. He could do X-Men Apocalypse and then the third Wolverine movie. You know, do it in threes and be done. I need them to reintroduce the Phoenix. I need them to bring Scott back. It should be interesting. I can't wait to see the Apocalypse, because Apocalypse is it's just like Galactus. Like they tried to do Galactus in Fantastic Four, the second one, Rise of the Silver Surfer. which kind of failed. It was a cloud instead of a bean, which that was kind of horrible. They would have to do Apocalypse the right way. So I'm interested in seeing, with everything they're doing with Thanos, coming with Guardians of the Galaxy, and then all the stuff they've done with the Avengers movies, and they're tying the X-Men world to the Avengers world, in with the characters, Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, because in the comic books, even though they're referred to as miracles now, even though Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, Magneto's children, the twins, they've been X-Men, but they've also been Avengers. So they're going to tie those two worlds together and say they exist in the same universe, the same Marvel universe. I don't know if they're going to do it with Spider-Man as much, which a big mashup with the Avengers, Spider-Man, the X-Men, past and present. I think that would be really, really cool. But we got to get through Apocalypse. Then we'll get Days of Future Past, see how that works out, which I think is going to be phenomenal. And then Apocalypse, which is down the road. And then the third Wolverine movie. And of course, all the Avengers stuff that is coming up. Whew, that's a lot. almost too much, right? Lastly, I often say that I'm a comic book guy come lately, or a fanboy come lately. I didn't know this thing existed. There are some guys on YouTube that review and comment on while the show's playing the pilots. The other day I watched them talk about the Wonder Woman pilot with Andrea Palacki. I think that's cool. But they did Aquaman. I'm like, Aquaman, and I remember a little bit about it. I remember when during Smallville's run, they had an Aquaman character. I forget his name, and I could look it up real quick if I really, really wanted to. But Justin Hartley, who ended up being Green Arrow on Smallville, and didn't get the show Green Arrow because Stephen Amell has that. He was Aquaman. He was going to be Aquaman in the series, but because they didn't use the guy that they were using in Smallville. And that was before Green Arrow was introduced into Smallville. This was in 2003. So if you go to iTunes, if you type in Aquaman, you can see the pilot for $1.99, but it's also on Vimeo. Just saying. And it was decent. It was decent, they and Ving Rhames was in it. Anything with Ving Rhames in it is good, right? Remember Holiday Heart? Hilarious when Ving Rhames played a drag queen. Hilarious. It was good. Alfred Woodard. It was really, really good. But so they introduced the concept of Aquaman from a 5th season episode of Smallville called Aqua, which was played by Alan Ritchson. Now he actually portrayed Aquaman through the whole Smallville series, even the last last year with the whole Dark Side storyline that didn't do anything for me, because they never did Dark Side. They never showed really a Dark Side. It was kind of a symbol of the, I don't know, it was a mess. But anyhow, Justin Hartley ended up getting the part. It was decent. They kind of told the story. It was kind of an origin story. He was too much Surfer Boy, which they try to make it more relatable to that particular DC universe, and it didn't go all well. But DC has scored big, of course, with Arrow. But I just watched it. So if you want to watch the Aquaman pilot that didn't get bought, because that was doing when the UPN and the WB was merging to make the CW, and they didn't pick up the pilot. But it was pretty interesting, and had Lou Diamond Phillips in it as the dad, and the mom was from Atlantis, and Lou Diamond Phillips wasn't the daddy, and he had these kind of water-based powers, and it was interesting. It's a good watch, just like Wonder Woman. I thought the Wonder Woman pilot was going to be horrible. it wasn't horrible. They kind of try to update the mythology, which really didn't work. But as for the fighting, and I even dealt with the uniform, even though the fanboys were not having it when they seen the first pictures, because they kind of thought she looked a mess, but I thought she was perfect. And also the Gal Gadot, who's going to be Wonder Woman in the Superman versus Batman movie coming up in 2016. She's looking good. I've seen her in some of the I really never knew who she was, and I've never seen the Fast and Furious movies, but she was in a few of them, I guess. And I've seen her, I'm like, oh, she can pull it off. So I'm not hating it as much. She's got some muscle, and Diana has been portrayed all kind of different ways in the comic books, to real muscly in the Kingdom Come series, but really, really feminine when George Perez was drawing Wonder Woman. So we will see. But I think that's all I got for tonight, guys. I thank you. Blake asked me, can you play Baby Got Back by Sir Mix-a-Lot? No, I don't have that. I'm sorry. But thanks for coming through, Blake. I don't have that. Thank you, Ken. Thank you, Josh Peterson, for rolling through tonight. I appreciate you guys. Don't forget to check out the Free Comic Book Day interview with Joe Field, either on the blog or on here on Spreaker.com or on iHeartRadio. Thank you guys for listening. You can always check us out at the5by5.blogspot.com, or send me a tweet at the5by5, or check me out on Facebook.com/the5by5 completely spelled out. I appreciate each and every one of you guys who take the time to listen to all my kind of crazy crazy fanboy stuff. I should be back tomorrow. Thanks, Ken Boggle. Baby got back. I got back, front, and everything else in between. Thank you guys for listening. You guys have a great week ahead of you, and we will see you next time.
It's time for
It's Fanboy Weekly for all you geeks, nerds, and blurs. Let's get our geek on.